What happens when the law becomes the criminal? When the people sworn to protect you are the ones who destroy everything you love? You don't call for help. You become the help. 3 men learned this lesson. One was a national hero who represented India at the Olympics. One was worshipped as a god in temples across central India. One was a demon who kidnapped the biggest movie star in the country and brought 2 state governments to their knees. The system called them criminals. The people called them saviors. But all 3 discovered the same truth. When justice fails, the only voice the system responds to is force. This is the story of India's most feared outlaws. And the terrifying thing? The system created every single one of them. October 1981. The Chambal ravines. A 54-year-old man stands in a dry riverbed, surrounded by 300 armed police officers. He is bleeding from multiple wounds. Outnumbered, outgunned, trapped, but he is smiling because the men pointing rifles at him are about to learn what happens when you push a soldier beyond the point of return. His name is Paan Singh Tomar, and 23 years earlier, he was India's pride. Tokyo, the Asian Games. A tall, lean man in an Indian uniform explodes off the starting blocks. Hurdle after hurdle, perfect timing, military precision. He crosses the finish line. Gold medal, national record. The crowd erupts. His name, Subedar Paan Singh Tomar. Indian Army, India's national steeplechase champion. For the next 7 years, he dominates Indian athletics. He runs for his country. He fights for his country. He believes in his country. After retiring from the army, Paan Singh returns to his ancestral village in Bain district, Madhya Pradesh. He expects peace. He expects dignity. He gets neither. A cousin named Babu Singh has seized his family's land while Paan Singh was away serving the nation. So Paan Singh does what any law-abiding citizen would do. He goes to the police. They ignore him. He goes to the district collector. They mock him. "You're a runner." They laugh. "So run away." But Paan Singh doesn't stop. He files cases, writes letters, waits for justice. And then one night, everything ends. It is past midnight. Police jeeps arrive at Paan Singh's house, but they are not there to help. They have been bribed. 6 officers storm inside. They drag his 90-year-old mother out of her bed, into the street, in front of the entire village. They beat her. Not to arrest, not to investigate, to humiliate. Paan Singh stands there, a man who ran for India, a man who fought for India, helpless, watching his mother collapse, watching the police laugh, watching the system he trusted erase his life in front of his eyes. That night, something inside Paan Singh Tomar died, and something far more dangerous took its place. Within 48 hours, Paan Singh disappears into the Chambal ravines. 6,000 square kilometers of canyons, caves, and dry riverbeds. A place where law does not enter. But Paan Singh is not like the others hiding there. He is a trained soldier. He doesn't just survive in the ravines. He organizes them. Using army discipline, he sets ambush zones, builds supply networks, recruits men with structure, and runs operations like military missions. He does not rob for money. He hunts for accountability, one by one. The cousin, the corrupt officers, the officials who laughed. Each is found. Each is confronted, but the police never expect what happens next. Paan Singh does not hide in silence. He invites journalists into the ravines. He gives interviews. He writes letters. He wants the country to know, "I didn't become a criminal. The system forced me here." When a journalist asks him, "Are you a dacoit?" Paan Singh replies, "Bagi bihad mein milte hain. Daku tu sansad main milta hain." Rebels are found in the ravines. The real thieves sit in parliament. The quote spreads across India because Paan Singh is not just armed, he is exposing the system. And suddenly, he is not just feared, he is understood. October 1st, 1981. 300 police officers surround him. Helicopters, armored vehicles. Paan Singh has 5 men. He does not run. A journalist later writes, "He stood in the open, firing, shouting. He wasn't escaping, he was confronting. The exchange lasts hours. When it ends, Paan Singh Tomar lies still, rifle in hand, the soil beneath him darkened." The soldier finally stopped running, but his story does not end there, because the man who came before him did not fight for his family. He fought for an entire region. And in the villages of Chambal, they did not call him a criminal. They built temples for him. Let me take you to a village in Madhya Pradesh. Not in the past, not in a museum. Right now, on the edge of the village stands a small temple. Inside, there is no idol of Shiva, no statue of Vishnu. There is only a photograph. A man with a thick mustache, a turban, a rifle slung across his shoulder. People light incense before it. They bow their heads. They pray. The police called this man a criminal. The villagers called him Man Singh Baba. Official records say this: between 1939 and 1955, Man Singh was responsible for over 1,000 robberies and nearly 200 killings. By the numbers alone, he was a monster. But numbers don't explain why people still worship him. So let's talk about what the records leave out. Man Singh was born in 1912 into a Rajput family in the Chambal region. For Rajputs, honor was not an idea, it was law. Land disputes were common, violence was not. Until one day, a rival clan crossed a line. They didn't just seize land. They dragged Man Singh's father into the village square, stripped him, beat him, humiliated him in public. In that culture, this was worse than death. Man Singh had two choices: go to the police, who were already aligned with the same landlords, or answer humiliation with blood. He chose blood. The first attack was precise. He ambushed the men responsible, killed the leaders, left the rest alive. But once you kill power, power responds. The police came. The landlords came. The courts followed. Man Singh vanished into the ravines. And that's where he became something else. Unlike other bandits, Man Singh created rules. He wrote them down. Never harm women. Never harm children. Never rob the poor. Only target the corrupt, the powerful, and the cruel. He enforced these rules brutally. Anyone in his gang who violated them was punished, sometimes executed. Man Singh didn't see himself as a criminal. He saw himself as correction. Here's a story villagers still tell. A landlord once refused to allow a poor family to cremate their dead because they couldn't pay a fee. That night, Man Singh's men arrived. They paid for the cremation, paid for the family's food for a year, then dragged the landlord into the same square where others had once been humiliated. The landlord survived, but he never abused his power again. Stories like this spread slowly. Fear turned into loyalty. Man Singh lived like a monk. He woke before dawn, bathed in the river, performed full prayer rituals. Only then did he pick up his rifle. When the police finally tracked him down in 1955, they expected to find stolen gold, weapons. Instead, they found a ledger, page after page, every robbery recorded, every rupee taken, every rupee distributed, every family helped. The bandit kept better records than the state. When Man Singh was killed, something unexpected happened. There were no celebrations. Thousands attended his funeral. Villagers built temples in his name. Because in a region where law only served the powerful, Man Singh became law. But that kind of power has a price. And the man who came next would prove it. Because the final outlaw was not driven by honor, he was driven by profit. And he turned entire forests into war zones. There is a forest in southern India that used to fall silent at night, not because it was peaceful. Because when the forest went quiet, it meant he was near. The Sathyamangalam forests. Dense, endless, unforgiving. For more than 30 years, this jungle belonged to one man, Kuz Munasamy, Veerappan. Veerappan was not a rebel. He was not a freedom fighter. He was not misunderstood. He was a businessman. And his business was fear. Veerappan began as a poacher in the 1967 period. He worked for sandalwood smugglers, cutting trees illegally and transporting timber through forest trails no map recorded. But he learned something quickly. Why work for criminals when you can become one? So he built his own operation. And unlike others, he mastered the terrain. Every cave, every stream, every hidden path across 6,000 square kilometers of jungle. The forest became his fortress. The police sent patrols. He studied them. He learned their routines, their radios, their mistakes. Then he stopped running. He started hunting. Between 1987 and 1991, over 40 police officers were killed in ambushes, not random attacks, calculated messages. The forest itself became a warning. Veerappan's crimes escalated. He killed elephants by the thousands for ivory, stripped sandalwood, worth millions, controlled smuggling routes across 2 states. And when the police increased pressure, he escalated again. This was no longer about survival. It was dominance. In 2000, he crossed a line that shook the country. He kidnapped Dr. Rajkumar, the biggest film star in South India. For 108 days, 2 state governments negotiated with a criminal. Buses stopped running. Shops shut down. Cities protested. Veerappan dictated terms. And the governments listened, because fear had replaced authority. But time catches everyone. By 2004, Veerappan was aging. His eyesight weakened. His body carried decades of injuries. And for the first time, the jungle stopped protecting him. The special task force didn't chase him. They waited. They used patience and deception. They sent an undercover officer, a fake ally, a promise of eye treatment, an ambulance, a moment of trust. That moment ended him. On October 18, 2004, Veerappan was killed in a staged encounter. 30 years of terror ended in silence. When doctors examined his body, they found 127 scars, bullets, shrapnel, knife wounds. He survived all of it. What killed him wasn't force. It was belief. And now, the pattern is complete. One man pushed into rebellion by injustice. One man elevated to divinity by absence of governance. One man consumed by power without restraint. 3 outlaws, 3 warnings. One system that failed differently every time. The police called them criminals. The people called them saviors. History calls them rebels. But in truth, they were symptoms of broken justice, of abandoned communities, of power that protected itself instead of people. When law becomes weaponized, people stop believing in it. And when belief dies, something else rises to replace it. Sometimes it's a hero. Sometimes it's a god. Sometimes it's a monster. This is not a story about the past. This is a pattern. And patterns don't disappear. They repeat. If you want to recognize these patterns before they explode again, subscribe. Because the next story isn't buried in history. It's unfolding right now, and most people won't see it coming.